Chapter 8: The First Empire, the Mauryas. Disunity in northwestern Janpadas encouraged foreigners to invade India in 4th and 5th century BC. One such invasion was of the Greek in northwestern India in 326 BC. Alexander opened new trade route to India but weakened the authority of northwestern rulers. The Mauryan Empire. The invasion of Alexander had caused unrest in North India. There were signs of unrest against foreign rule. Chandragupta Maurya, a courageous man of ordinary background, took advantage of these conditions. With the support of a wise Brahmin named Chanakya, he overthrew the Nanda dynasty of northern India. Around 321 BCE, Chandragupta became the king of Magdha. It marked the beginning of Maurya dynasty. After many years of rule, he was succeeded by his son Bindusara. Chandragupta is remembered in history as the founder of the First Indian Empire. Bindusara came to the throne around 300 BCE. During his reign, the whole of the Indian subcontinent, except Kalinga, present-day Odisha, came under the Mauryan Empire. Contemporary Greek writers call him Amitrochates. He was also known as Mahasena. Ashoka the Great. Bindusara was succeeded by his son Ashoka, was the greatest of the Mauryan emperors. He came to the throne around 272 BCE. We can learn more about him and his empire from his inscriptions, which consist of edicts or messages that he got engraved on rocks and stone pillars at public places. These are found in various parts of India, from the northwest to Karnataka in the south. The Kalinga War. When Ashoka became emperor, Kalinga, present-day Odisha, was independent. It was important to conquer Kalinga because it controlled the land and sea routes to South India and Southeast Asia. Ashoka attacked Kalinga around 264 BCE, about 8 years after he became the emperor. This battle, which Ashoka won, was a turning point in his life as he was deeply hurt by all the resulting bloodshed and suffering caused to life. He vowed to give up the path of wars and adopt the Buddhist path of Dhamma. Ashoka, Dhamma. Since Ashoka became a devout Buddhist, he began to spread the teachings of Buddha by issuing edicts. These edicts were engraved on rocks or pillars in Brahmi and Prakrit language so that even common people could read them. As Ashoka wanted the message to reach all his subjects, he used the language which they could understand. Ashoka believed in high ideals, which could lead the people to be good and virtuous beings. The principles of Dhamma. 1. People should live in peace and harmony. 2. Respect and tolerance to all irrespective of caste, creed and religion. 3. Shunning violence and war. 4. Stopping animal sacrifice and non-vegetarianism. 5. Respect of slaves by their masters. Welfare measures. Ashoka built good roads and planted trees on both sides of the road. He constructed rest houses for travelers. He also built many hospitals, both for people and animals. He toured his empire regularly to ensure that everything was well. Ashram edicts written in the Brahmi script. The edicts are mostly in the Pali language. It was the language understood by the common people. In most of his inscriptions, he treated his subjects as his children and himself as their father. The edicts told people about his ideas on administration, religion and other values of life. Ashoka appointed officials called Dhammahamatas, who were responsible for spreading the principles of Dhamma in different parts of the empire. Administration. Literary sources such as the Indika and the Arthashastra and the various rock and pillar edicts of Ashoka give us a detailed account of the Mauryan administration. The administration can be studied under 4 heads: 1. Central, 2. Provincial, 3. District and 4. Village. Central. The king was the supreme authority. He took all important decisions concerning the empire. He was assisted by a council of ministers, Mantri Parishad. The various branches of the administration were under officials called Amratyas. provincial. The empire was divided into provinces, each headed by a prince. He ruled the province as a representative of the king. He was assisted by many officials. District. Each province was divided into a number of districts. The Pradeshta was the district. It was ruled by junior officials such as the Yuktas and the Rajoyikas. Their functions included the survey and assessment of land, collection of revenue and maintenance of law and order. Village. Each district consisted of many villages. Villages assisted the government officials in marking the boundaries of the village, maintaining land records and collecting taxes. Army. The army was led by the Senapati, who regularly reported to the king. The army was well trained. A separate department looked after the production of weapons. Tax system. A well-organized system of tax collection helped to collect revenue to carry out the administrative functions and for the maintenance of the army. While land revenue seems to be the main tax imposed, there is also a mention of water tax. Fines charged also added to the revenue. Occupation. Agriculture was the principal occupation of a large section of the population. Rice, wheat, barley, pulses and vegetables were grown. Artisans were specialized in various crafts. Craftspersons produced textiles and made objects from wood, ivory, semi-precious stones, iron, copper, etc. Both internal and external trade existed. Important trading centers were Pataliputra, Ujjain, Taxila, and Brock. Traders carried the goods to far-off countries like Ceylon, Burma, Egypt, Syria, and Macedonia. Monuments and coins. Stupas and pillars are important monuments from the Mauryan period. The most famous of these is the Sanchi Stupa in Madhya Pradesh. Tall, polished sandstone pillars carry Ashoka's edicts. Punch-marked coins became widespread. Mostly of silver, these had various symbols like animals and trees. Some may have been symbols of particular kings or may have indicated groups of merchants and craftspeople. Decline of Mauryas. After the death of Ashoka in 232 BC, the central control from Pataliputra became weak, as they had neither the acumen nor the leadership skills of their predecessors. Such a vast empire, therefore, became difficult to be managed as the network of roads was damaged by floods. The state became financially weak, as the administration failed to collect revenues. Provinces started disintegrating. 85 BC, the Mauryan Empire declined.